I'm Natalie Stanbury, I'm the Research Director at the IAB, and this afternoon I've got some highlights from the IAB's Attitudes to Programmatic Digital Out-of-Home report. And these are based on some findings of a survey that we conducted earlier in the month amongst both independent and large agencies who have actually used programmatic digital out-of-home. So these results are used by our council to develop initiatives like our Buyer's Guide that will help marketers make the most of their digital out-of-home investments. So this year we've seen a shift. We've seen agencies embrace programmatic digital out-of-home, moving from experimentation to more regular consideration. So we've got 7 in 10 agencies using programmatic have it as a significant or regularly considered part of their activities. The report also shows that the overall understanding of programmatic digital out-of-home has lifted over the last year. We still have some work to do there, but there's certainly been an improvement in their understanding. Within agencies, we're seeing planning teams continue to have strong influence. But we're also seeing those programmatic teams have increased their involvement with programmatic digital out-of-home this year. There's high levels of collaboration within agencies across planning out-of-home, digital out-of-home and programmatic within their same teams. And they're also integrating programmatic digital out-of-home advertising with other formats, specifically with digital video and with retail media. Those private marketplace deals have had the most significant increase year on year, and this is the predominant programmatic buying method. Guaranteed buying methods has also increased this year. And we've got 2/3 of agencies that we surveyed have in-house trading or operations. But those hybrid models are becoming a little bit more common, so the internal and external teams working together. The IAB in Europe do a very similar study, and that report has highlighted an increasingly mature programmatic market in Europe, and they've got high demand for programmatic in emerging media, including digital out-of-home, which is a key growth area in that market, along with connected TV. Data and targeting, along with flexible buying options, continue to be the key drivers of buying programmatic digital out-of-home. These drivers are consistent with more established programmatic formats such as audio and video. This year we expanded this list of drivers a little bit to get a little bit more granular, and we can see geolocation data has come out as that #1 factor for buying this year. So our agencies are really evaluating their flexibility, so being able to do things like update creative on the fly and make those mid-campaign adjustments, along with assessing if their campaign can benefit from geographic or time targeting, and whether there's data there available to optimise their campaign. Classic out-of-home buying metrics are also being used, so to consider the context of the location and the quality of the environment. The technical capabilities for DCO are growing, so digital creative optimisation, and that's unlocking some new levels of creativity and flexibility for advertisers, and that increased opportunity for contextually relevant creative executions. So we've had over half of our agencies have used DCO in the last 12 months. And while all formats have grown this year, it's particularly significant growth in that DCO area. And we've got even a further 28% of agencies there who haven't yet used it, who intend to in the next 12 months. So that opportunity for reliable targeting, creative execution and measurement does hinge on quality data, accuracy and consistency. And agencies are increasingly using DSP supplied data in their programmatic digital out-of-home advertising. The usage of media owner supplied data has also increased over the last year. One of the most common use cases that is being explored across the industry in terms of AI is in this area of identifying audiences and segmenting audiences. So that data privacy, security and transparency are really critical as we look at integrating AI, more into the future. So increasing brand awareness remains the predominant objective amongst agencies over the last year, and that has been the case for all of our previous waves of this survey. There is comparatively lower usage of programmatic digital out-of-home for increasing sales and conversions, so that bottom of the funnel. Compared to the objectives of other digital advertising formats, you can see here, programmatic is very similar to digital video with its focus on the upper funnel brand area, whereas retail media very much more focused on the driving sales. So as digital out-of-home becomes a larger part of omnichannel strategies, that need for consistent, actionable and outcomes-based measurement is really intensifying. So tools that allow holistic measurement across media are becoming increasingly important. So we can see in this survey here, we've had a significant increase in the usage of market mix modelling and cross-media brand lift surveys. For market mix modelling, we do need to take care that to reflect that impact of programmatic accurately, that we have those automated data feeds in place with the granularity that really aligns with how programmatic spend is structured, and that we also have the flexibility built in there to adapt that data when strategies change. So certainly there's increasing importance on these cross-media and outcomes-based tools. However, campaign audience and volume reporting remain the most important tools being used on metrics. Agencies are calling for that transparency and comparability. They would like the industry to provide clearer standardised definitions of impressions and audience reach. So certainly those standardised metrics are going to be really well received. Increasing brand awareness as it remains the predominant objective. We can also see here that agencies are aligning their measurement and measuring brand impact. So as I said, the overall understanding around programmatic digital out-of-home has certainly increased, and our barriers here have decreased over the last year. But it is still that lack of understanding that is the barrier in programmatic digital out-of-home getting a larger share. In particular, that understanding of cost versus benefit analysis. So agencies are really calling for a clearer picture of how programmatic digital out-of-home is priced and the value that it is delivering. So prioritised a little bit lower here, those measurement challenges that I mentioned. Having the evidence of effectiveness, they are both the top barriers for out-of-home and digital out-of-home. So we had 2/3 of agencies here think that digital out-of-home advertising opportunities will be impacted by privacy legislation reforms, while 21% are not sure. In other studies that the IAB have done recently, we did find that there is low to mid-level understanding across the industry about Privacy Act reforms. So there is lots of education for us to do across the industry. And as digital out-of-home relies on audience data, privacy and compliance has to remain a priority and ensure that we are adhering to those regulations and leveraging data responsibly. So last quick roundup here, what can we do to further support understanding of programmatic digital out-of-home? Education resources are really important, case study evidence. You're going to see both of those in spades today. Greater transparency on our data sources and those standardised metrics, a clearer picture of pricing and that value delivered, and lots of showcasing of creative. So you can download the full report from the IAB website here.